everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of Cancel Schweezy. If you didn't know, I am your host, Schweezy, aka the Foreplay King. Welcome to the second show of mine that I'm doing, which is really exciting. Been thinking about doing a solo show for a while now, and I thought I'm the only obstacle in my way telling me not to do this. I'm not trying to be like Micah, who is his own obstacle in finishing all of his things, but remember,
hashtag pray for Micah.
And I got a soundboard on the show, which is super awesome. I'm super excited about. So I'm excited to use this, and hopefully this might integrate into the Schwedcast itself. So first and foremost, if you like this show, hit the subscribe button and the like button. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever else, you actually are watching the show. And that's what really helps the show and what's really going to keep the show going. But yeah, no, we're still going to keep doing the Schwedcast, or
the Schwedcast,
as Big Time Tommy would say. We're going to keep that as normal. I'm just adding additional content to this channel, which is really cool. We're expanding the Schwoke Potomatic universe, I want to say. And like I said, I'm trying to convince Micah to actually start a show with me, but it's been very difficult to try to convince him because, something's always in the way. So
hashtag pray for Micah,
as Big Time Tommy would also say. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm really happy I'm doing this show, and I'm really excited to hopefully, make it a little more of a personal show, a little more about me, because, when I interview people, it's very, I want to talk about them, and the goal to actually being good at interviewing people is to, make them the subject, and then I also just kind of goof around too. So, I want to make, two different shows, and so that's what I do. But yeah, no, like and subscribe to this show. Also want to know that every Monday and Thursday, this show comes out on Monday, so if you're listening tonight, over on twitch.tv/the Schweezy, I will be playing video games. Tonight, I believe I will be playing Luigi's Mansion 3, and I think I'm going to continue that on Thursday, unless I finish the game. I don't know how long I'm going for. I do know, I believe it's October 22nd. That's when the Pokemon DLC, the Crown Tundra, comes out, and I'm going to be playing that day of because it came out on a Thursday, which is very perfect for my stream. I think they kept me in mind for that stream, and
I like that.
But not really just like that.
And I really like that.
As my boy Garth would say. But no, I'm really excited. Go check me out on Twitch. Hit that follow button, and if you have an Amazon Prime account, actually, you press the subscribe button, there's the follow button, which is free. But if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link it to your Twitch, and then when you press the follow, you get to follow one person a month. And if you follow me, that actually really helps me financially and with this channel and everything else. So really cool like that. I'm using my cans today. I usually use in-ears, but I think a part of it snapped off. It's not usable. I just have to super glue it, and I don't have any super glue right now, which means I have to leave my home and go out somewhere with the mask on, which is unbearable. I know it's actually having to go outside now. It's I have to leave my home, and then it's inconvenience now for me to just leave, because I work in my own home. I have my own studio here, and then my other rooms, just just for relaxation. But in this room right here, I work in, this is my workspace. And so I'm always in here doing stuff. And it's weird because I have a Switch dock in here. So it's maybe I can play Fortnite. And I'm well, you're not going to get anything done when you just play Fortnite in here and do nothing. So I have to prioritize. Maybe I should just leave the Switch in the other room so I'm not tempted to use it. But then I have to do my live streams in here too. So I don't know. But no, check me out on Twitch. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun over there, and you get to talk to me personally, and I tell stupid stories, which is going to be like this show, but it's live in real time. So this show, I try not to do any edits, but if I do have to edit something out, well, but the whole point is trying to cancel myself. So I don't know how much editing I want to do. It just may be sloppiness I edit out, but you'll see. If you see, I'll try to make it obvious when I edit something else, so you can shame me for it. Also want to announce I have a new song out now. It is called Oof. You got to say it with a little emphasis, to get it right. But it's a super fun song. I really like it. And I have a bunch of other songs coming soon that I'm really excited about. These songs are I like all of them so much. A lot of times you can release a bunch of songs, you're that's just kind of a filler song. So I'm no, I love all these songs. I wrote them all I think it started back in April. I think April to June is when I wrote it all. So I'm like really getting close. I'm getting it all kind of in the release right now. Super excited about that. So I'm really excited. Go check it out. It's going to be out this Friday. I'm going to put a link in the description of this episode for you today. That's going to be, basically a pre-save. So if you're on Spotify, Apple Music, and Deezer. I learned if you're not in America, that's where Deezer is popular. I just learned that. So I'm glad I'm putting it out to all these different places. So I just try to put it on every store I possibly can. It's going to be on TikTok too. So I want to see some girls dance. And if you're beautiful, queens above 18, you know what I'm saying? I hope they do some dances for that, because you know what?
And I really like that.
Exactly. But yeah, go check that out too. Also, I want to talk about our Patreon page. The Patreon page is brand new, and I'm glad to get this other show out to you while I do this, because it's going to be a really great platform for that. The Patreon right now is a personal, direct way you can support me, Schweezy, directly with this content. Right now, there's only one tier. I might start another tier, but let me go into that in a second. So the current tier is $5, and with that $5, you get ad-free episodes of both the Schwegcast and this show right here, Cancel Schweezy. So, you get ad-free episodes. So, basically, you're the sponsor. It's $5 a month. It's a perfect way to just support me directly and help me, continue doing this work, the good work for you, which this is the first episode, so I don't know how this episode's going to be. I don't know how it's going to end, though. But, yeah, no, seriously, support me. I'm thinking about doing a $1 tier, which is called the stripper tier, which is help Schweezy get a lap dance tier or something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. But we got to see where it's going, but you know what they say.
This is the type of guy you get,
as Joe would say. So you know what's going on. You know what's the drill is. But I'm really happy. So go sign up for the Patreon. You get ad-free episodes. That's what really. If you want to be my favorite person, I might be $1,000 tier where I just kiss you or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm working on the tiers, but I'm making sure that with the Patreon, that if you sign up for it, I want you to actually get something out of it. It's where, get Kickstarters. I want to make sure that you get something every time, you donate money to me, because I feel I want that to be the proper transaction in regards to that. So I'm really serious about Patreon, and I really want to make it worthwhile for anyone who does want to support me on Patreon. But like I said, you can still support the show for free by hitting the subscribe button and liking this podcast on YouTube. Best place is YouTube. But if you're listening, I know a lot of people that have commute and they drive places all the time, and this is actually a better podcast for that. That's kind of what I also wanted to do, because I feel the Schwegcast is going to be more of a video show, something you actually just want to sit down and watch, whereas this show is something you can actually sit down, because I'm going to stray away from clips on this show, maybe do some slight editing, but I kind of just want to talk. That's kind of the whole purpose of this show. I just want to talk and go from there,
then I say let the conversation begin.
As Garth would say, let the conversation begin. I like that. I just, that's what I kind of want for this show to be. So I kind of want to, meet in the middle for everyone on that. But yeah, that's what I want to do. So let's talk a little bit more about what I want from this show. It's the first episode of Cancel Schweezy, which I think, so I got to kind of talk what my ideas are for the show. And obviously, I think as I keep doing more episodes of this, the ideas are just going to change over time. But I have a general idea of how I'm going to start the show out. I'm just looking at notes. I actually plan out these episodes of things I'm going to discuss. It's not like the Schwegcast where I just kind of sit down, press record, and just start talking to someone, just for fun. This one I do plan out a little bit more of stuff I want to talk about. Mainly, I'm going through current events, things going on in my life, and also I want to give advice. So, if you want advice from me, it's not going to be good advice. It could be good advice. I'm not saying any of that stuff, but it's going to be advice. You can email the Schwegcast at gmail.com, and you're going to get all that stuff. You can send me anything. If I feel like I can answer it, I'm going to do it. If I don't feel like I can answer it, I might still answer it. I don't know.
This is the type of guy you get,
as Joe would say. So I'm going to figure that out along the way, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, still send it out, even if you don't believe it. If you want to remain anonymous, just put that in the email. I'll probably post on Instagram too, so go follow the Schweezy on Instagram. I'll kind of post it there, and you can post it there too. And if you want to remain anonymous, I'll keep it that way too. I don't try to ruin other people's careers. I only ruin my own. That's why it's cancel Schweezy, not cancel insert your name here on the show. And also, like I said, the regular Schwedcast is not going anywhere. We're keeping that show exactly the same as we're doing this. The Schwedcast staying normal. This is an offshoot of the Schwedcast. I want to keep this show somewhere in the middle. So it's going to remain on the Schwedcast feed. So if you're already actually subscribed to the Schwedcast and you're listening to this, like, you're not going to have to subscribe to another channel. It's going to stay on this channel and also on the YouTube channel as well. None of that is going to change. But that's the kind of the thing, though. So, but it's also it is the Schwedcast, but it's also not the Schwedcast. And that's kind of how I want this show to remain at the moment. And at this present time, I'm going to be honest with you, just being like for real. If this show doesn't work out, we might not be doing it for a while. So we'll see how everything goes. And I might like stop for a while doing the show, might come back. I haven't decided yet. I'm just going to get personal feels out for it. Just feel what I feel comfortable with on this. The Schwedcast is staying the way it is. I like the way that show is. It's just me sitting down with someone talking, even about life, about music, about honestly anything and everything, as I like to say on the show. Back when I was, when I was on network, it was like, we're talking about songwriters about songwriters. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I guess if you want to know, I was on a podcast network for a while, but I kind of like the way I'm doing the show now, so I'm kind of glad that kind of ended. But, good for the network that I was on, good for them. Also, I want to try to mention this every episode. You need to take everything I say with a grain of salt. I don't do a lot of research. I'm just kind of seeing things, and then I'll try to reference if I do have a source, but at the same time, I have a bachelor's degree in music technology, so the way I record the show, the way I'm doing this show, you should take that seriously. I'm like, man, this episode sounds like shit. And you're like, you should blame me for that 100%. It's like, he is wrong about this musical idea. I'm like, yeah, you should take me down for that. But if I'm like, I think bisexual women like man boobs, they're okay with it. You could say he's wrong about that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably be like that. And honestly, I have no opinion about saying if I'm wrong about something. I'll be honest with you, just kind of in my personal daily life. If I'm wrong about something, I am perfectly fine with saying, hey, I'm wrong, and I do apologize for that. But if I'm right, I tend to stick on that pretty hard. I've been in relationships where, I believe and I know I'm right, but she would be like, you need to apologize for me for being wrong. I'm like, look, I will apologize for the way I acted and how I treated the situation, but my opinion on this situation was not wrong, and I do not apologize for that. I will apologize for how I treated you and how kind of shitty I was. I can be a shitty person sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but it's cancel Schweezy. I'm canceling myself. We're canceling myself. This might be the only episode of this show, but no, if I'm right, I 100% will die on that sword. But if I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. I think it's probably something when I grew up. My dad can sometimes, he's better now. He's good now, but if he was wrong, he would not admit it. So it's probably part of me is I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, music opinions, take them I'm trying to be right, but anything else, it's you're probably wrong. That's, so just realize the person I am. I saw Joe Rogan, he was getting flack from Spotify employees. They're we need to censor Joe Rogan. And everyone's it's Joe Rogan. Don't take him seriously. He gets good guests on the show, but at the same time, he's not, he can commentate MMA because I feel he knows MMA, and he can talk a little bit, he can talk about comedy because he's a comedian, obviously. And everything else he talks about is just his interest, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, apparently with that story, from what I know, I read, no one's reached out to Joe specifically about it. No one's reached out to his management from Spotify about it. So I think it's just a couple of Gen Z people. Can I start complaining about Gen Z sometimes? I like them. They're cool. I think they're going to help like the millennials in the most part. But I feel like actually, since this is cancel Schweezy, I feel like their idea of cancel culture, like they need to start taking like some of these things more seriously, you know, just like, you know, like Aziz Ansari. I feel like that woman was just did not enjoy her time or something like that. I don't know. I probably shouldn't speak on that. Actually, I can, but I don't want to. And that's the point of this show. So we're 15 minutes in. Let's get into the main topics I have prepared. Recently, the vice presidential debate just happened. I did not watch the full thing. I watched the highlights from people I think are funny, and that's all that matters. Also, I kind of want to like mention with like politics, like in the meantime, I guess I would fall on the liberal side. I don't want to call myself a liberal. I'm also a millennial, so I don't want to label myself. So that's probably something. But I will tell you right now, I'm voting for Joe Biden in the election. I'm voting for Joe Biden in Tennessee. I guarantee he probably won't win, but I'm hoping with any other type of Senate and everything else is, I'm hoping with that idea, at least we can try and get Tennessee a good place. I know our House of Representatives, we have a cool guy, not like a cool guy, like
hashtag pray for Micah.
But, like a good guy. I can't remember his name, and I do not want to look it up on my computer right now because I'm talking right now. But no, I think our House Rep, because I think the gerrymandering, at least for Nashville, is pretty good. It means it really represents Nashville for Tennessee, but I like the rest of the state pretty sucks kind of dick, if I could say that myself. Anyways, though, but, I will say that I am voting for them. But I also want to say, I don't debate politics with people, and for this one reason why. I know a lot of people are a lot smarter than me who actually do debate politics and like human rights and activism stuff, and I love those people. Obviously, my friend
hashtag pray for Micah
is one of those amazing people who does that stuff, but I have to say on my end that I don't argue main politics because I'm not going to fight with someone. I want to take my energy sparingly. I don't want to argue with someone why they should be a good person. I'm not going to argue that with anyone. So when you hear the news I have on politics, we're going to go a different lane on that. So when I say that's what I want to say, and that's what I'm probably going to have to establish that a bunch of more episodes, how I do this show. But in the meantime, I just wanted to, recognize that right now for those people who start from number one and like, well, maybe if I do like 3,000 of these, they get there and like, yeah, I understand who the hell Schweezy is for the most part. Okay. So first, I want to just get the low-hanging fruit out of the way. A fly landing on Mike Pence's head. Now, like I've seen a lot of things, like it's like in paintings, it's a metaphor for like someone who's human garbage, which I totally agree with. And just go to. It's funny, like how did you not notice it was on your head? Like, he doesn't have, like, looking at his hair, he still has a full head of hair, but, I mean, it's not a super thick head of hair. It's kind of like mine. My hair's decently thin, but I have a lot of it. So even if I lose some, like, I'm still going to have a decent head of hair for the most part. Just kind of like looking at my dad's genetics, it looks like I'm going to be good on the most part. I have some cousins who don't look like they're going to have a lot of hair, but you win, you lose, you sing the blues, and they're probably, a lot better off than I am right now, probably a lot more mentally there. And so it's just kind of a, trade-off. But you can't like control your genetics, but like, okay, but let's go on the hair thing for a second. I have friends who just like, who started losing their hair and they're just like, well, I'm just going to shave my head and be bald now. I'm like, what? You could try like hair transplant, like try a hair transplant. You could try Rogaine. I'm using Rogaine on my face because I can't naturally grow a beard. It's looking okay right now, but like, I understand that my face does not look that good. My facial hair does not look that good, and I'm okay with that. The rule is because I make fun of my friends. I'm notorious for making fun of my friends, as you know.
Hashtag pray for Micah
is notoriously made fun of my friend. If you know my friend TJ, one of his ex-girlfriends is this.
Pretty bold of you little fucks to assume that I'm not God.
So I'm pretty, I make fun of my friends, but that's your friends. Like, you make fun of them. So the idea I think of is if you're bald, if you go bald, your friends are going to make fun of you for being bald if you decide to go with the route of I'm bald. But at the same time, if you get a hair transplant and you have a full head of hair and you feel better about yourself, your friends are still going to make fun of you for having a hair transplant. They're going to make fun of you for being bald, and they're going to make fun of you for having a hair transplant. So why not feel good about yourself? Get the hair transplant, try the Rogaine, try it. Go out with a fight, And they're going to make fun of you regardless of what you do. I try to tell my close friends this. I try to remind them a lot that, hey, you know what, make your life choices and do what you want to do, because regardless of the choice you make, I'm going to make fun of you for it. So do what makes you happy and do that. Man, talking for this much makes me thirsty. Okay. But yeah, that's like I'm saying, like, if you don't want to be bald, don't at least try. It's like, invest in yourself. Try to do something with yourself. I'm trying to lose weight. I gained a little bit back. But I'm trying to be better with what I eat. It's just kind of I'm not going out meeting women. So it's just kind of I'm waiting around. And so once that, I'm kind of a little worried to go back to the gym. It's just kind of I don't, I feel like working out in a mask could make me uncomfortable. I do want to say this. I don't like wearing a mask. I will say that. I'll agree with the Karens on that. But I will still wear one because obviously I understand the science behind it, and that you need to wear a mask. Because it's if you don't want to get shit on someone else. That was the analogy that made sense to me. It's if you're wearing pants and underwear, and if you accidentally shit yourself, it's only going to get on you. It's not going to get on someone else. But however, if you're walking around like Donald Duck or Winnie the Poohing, and you accidentally shit yourself, there's a good chance you can get that on someone else, even if they are wearing pants. You're still going to get shit on them. So if you wear pants and the other person wears pants, you're not going to get shit on each other. And that's the analogy that made sense to me. I mean, at first I was I don't want to wear a mask. I'd rather get coronavirus. And now I'm okay, this actually helps. It may not cure it 100%, but it's going to help. And as long as you don't, I want to hang out with friends and do it right. And so I know we can't kiss each other on the mouth like I want to, but but it is weird dating right now because you have to they're have you been tested? And I'm yeah, I have no STDs. And they're that's not the test I was asking about. I'm oh, you haven't taken a COVID test, but I live alone. So I've not had to have any reason to actually take an actual COVID test. My plan is if I do anything for Thanksgiving, go see family for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Christmas, definitely. I want to see my family. I'm going to take a test. Then, obviously take a test. And then if I go anywhere, wear a mask and then just hang out with them. We're probably not going to be able to eat out. We might get takeout or something like that, but probably not eating out. But I don't know. Missouri is a lot different than Tennessee. Well, non-Nashville, Tennessee. But I'm going to take a drink real quick. Man, my mouth's getting dry. Okay, I'm getting used to doing these solo shows. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. Anyways, I've got a presidential debate, though. So, obviously, I thought, Kamala Harris, I liked the way she came off. I think she did better than Joe Biden with Trump. I know with Kamala, and I'm saying this, obviously as the show is called Cancel Schweezy, she kind of needed to come off a little bit as a bitch, but I feel like that's what we need. The kind of woman boss who you could consider a bitch, but she gets that shit done correctly, and I think that's what Kamala Harris. And so Kamala really won me over with that. I'm actually a lot more. I was saying for a while, it's you can feel okay about voting for Joe Biden, but don't act excited about it, Now I'm you know what? Feel good about voting for Joe Biden. Feel good because Kamala Harris is also vice president. And what I've been saying about if you are typically left-leaning and you say that it's I don't like Joe at all. I'm think about the people that Joe Biden surrounds himself with. Now, the people he surrounds with, he got Barack Obama to endorse, to pick him as his vice president. Think about that. Think about the cabinet members and think about the Supreme Court seat that he's picking. Joe Biden is the people he surrounds himself with is so good. And that's why I feel we need to like be more like, yeah, let's vote for Joe Biden, because it's not just the president. Like, that's the thing that's the problem with Trump, is like he surrounds himself by idiots and like slum people who are just fucking awful, and I hate it. And that's like, I think that's the biggest problem. Like, I know, like, you know, he had his first Supreme Court justice pick, and I think Andrew Gorsuch, or whatever his name is, he's pretty, I think, you know, we probably disagree on some things, but I think as a Supreme Court candidate, I think he is a pretty good choice. But then Brett Kavanaugh was like, his name's Brett. I don't know. I know people named Brett, but at the same time, it's like, that's not a politician's name. Joe or Joseph, you know, that's a good politician name. Bernie, that's like a unique name. That's funny. Donald. I always think like Donald's a stupid name. Then I think of Donald Glover, and I'm like, oh, that's not a stupid name. All right, let's go. No, let me get back on track here. But no, okay. So for that debate, so if obviously you didn't know, I guess with most debates, like they practice with someone, you know, doing a debate who can like kind of help them out. And from what it shows here, Kamala Harris practiced with Pete Buttigieg, which, if you don't know, Pete Buttigieg is a gay man from Indiana. Now, that sentence is not necessarily anything particularly noteworthy, but if you think about it, Mike Pence is also a gay man from Indiana. Now, I know what I said was very bold, but I'm actually going to stand behind this one because I actually kind of believe it. I believe that Mike Pence is a gay man, and his super like homophobic stuff that he does is a result of him being a gay man. He is gay. Like, look at his hair. His hair is way too neat to be like a straight man. Oh, first of all, I want to say I love LGBT community. You know, like I respect that. You know, I respect trans people. And like at this, you know, it's like obviously you're born in like with the wrong. Sometimes you're born with a penis and you don't want to be born with a penis. That just makes sense, you know. Actually, I know I saw like a thing where like they were doing brain scans on people, and obviously take in mind, so don't get triggered. If you're listening to this show and you're getting triggered, you just need to not listen to this show. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Just if you're triggered, do not listen to this podcast. Like just don't. But so there's a typical brain scan of like what a man's brain works like and what a woman's brain works like. And when they were doing that scan on someone who was transgender, it was kind of more identifying with the gender they identified as. And I'm like, that is super interesting. And so that was very like, you know, like the scientific, because I like the idea of the social ideas and the scientific ideas match each other. I feel like that's like super cool. That, you know, I grew up super Christian, and a lot of scientists believe that there was once like a great flood that like flooded the entire earth. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know, like science and religion kind of like mashed together on that, which is really cool. Anyways, where the hell was I? I was like, oh, Mike Pence is gay. That's where I was. But anyways, no, I love LGBT people. I don't really. I kind of realized though, like with like race and like sexuality, it's not the fact that I accept it. I don't care about it. Like, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if like you were born as a man or now a woman. Like, I don't care about that. You know, I hope that makes sense to you. And I hope that's like a better way of being like, I'm colorblind, but in my mind, it's like, I don't like judge people. I don't represent people like on their race. I just kind of like, I judge them on their personality and their interests. And I will always say that. Obviously, you know.
Hashtag pray for Micah.
He's like very interested in writing his book. He's very interested in activism. So I try to like meet him like with that over, you know, his bullshit shit that he always does. But anyways, no, I think Mike Pence is a gay man, and he needs to stop hiding it. He needs to just go out, tell his wife that maybe, you know, be good people to each other or something like that. And that's the thing. I think, you know, he needs to stop hiding it and stop trying to push conversion therapy. So I want to tell this story about a guy I went to high school with. His name is David. And I won't say his last name, though I want to, because I want to, like, ruin his life because he's a terrible person. So he was super homophobic towards my brother in high school. I got a glimpse of an email. Like, he sent a bunch of people about how he needed to, like, fix my brother and, like, guide him towards the light for not being gay anymore. And I'm like, bro, I don't think it works that way. Like, but I also kind of think he's gay too. I don't say I have a good gaydar. I would say I have a good, like, if someone's hiding the fact that they're gay, they're gay. There's this kid. He's an adult now. I shouldn't say he's a kid, but I was staffing at a church camp, and I could basically just tell him, like, this kid's gay, and we're still friends on Facebook, and I still try to, like, I still really want to support him. There's a lot of, like, I staffed a church camp for a lot of years, and so, like, I see a lot of the kids going. They're kids to me. They're kids to me. I see a lot of these kids coming out, and I'm like, I try to, like, show my support to them. And I'm like, I'm really proud of you. I'm glad you came to this. I still love you, and I still kind of, like, I kind of want to. I'm glad that we're still friends. Some of them, like, unfriended me, and I feel really bad about that. Because I feel like I gave out the impression that I'm super homophobic, but I'm not. But I really, a lot of them are still my friend on Facebook, and I really hope they know I appreciate them and I love them, and I'm supporting them on their life. But I would support him if he was gay, but I don't support when people are, like, trying to hide their homophobia, like their, like, homosexual desires, like they're gay, or maybe they might be bisexual, but they, like, try to, like, shame other people for being gay, and then, like, they create, like, gay conversion therapy, which, I mean, I've worked at church camps. Like I say, I'm spiritual, not religious. At this point, I probably fall in line with Christians, but once Trump became president, I don't want to associate myself with them at all, so I'm not that kind of Christian. But in the meantime, no, I think a lot about, like, gay conversion therapy, and I think a lot about, like, when I went to church camp, and they kind of set it up to, like, find Jesus, like, feel emotionally guided towards Jesus and these type of things. And I always say, like, I feel like I know these staff members, I worked with them. So I can honestly say that I feel like they were intending to do something good for the most part. Like, they were intending to do, like, to make someone's life better. I will say that, and a lot of these people I still talk to, and I'm still, like, very close friends with, honestly. Some of my best friends in my life, and, like, my people I plan if I ever get married, and my groomsmen, like, they're people I met at church camp. Like, this is the type of guy you get, as Joe would say. But for real, like, it's the idea of gay conversion therapy. I can understand, like, the pressure they do with it, but it's not gonna work. Like, there's no way gay conversion therapy can work. I just doubt there's any circumstance that would work. Like, you're making someone like, oh, I'm not gay anymore, but, like, they're still gay. Like, they're still, like, I'm going to speak from a guy's perspective. I don't know how women, because I feel like the lesbians are, like, cool. I always like lesbians. But, like, I'm going to speak on a guy's behalf. Like, there's no way anyone could ever convince me from not liking women. Like, I've really tried to explore my sexuality, and, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I've watched gay porn. Obviously, this one comes to mind.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
But, and it's like, I've watched it, and I'm like, I'm not turned on by this. I've seen enough gross stuff to, like, be able to, like, watch it, through and through. But, like, I realized, like, I had to, like, learn on my own, like, what my sexuality was. Like, okay, I really like women. I'm really kind of a sissy person. Like, I sometimes feel like God intended to either create a gay man or a transgender woman, and then it's like at the last minute, I was like, no, let's just keep them straight. And then, like, oh, I come down here and it's like, yeah, I spend like 20 minutes on my hair and, like, body every day, just trying to keep up everything. And then, like, everyone's like, that's not manly at all. But, it is what it is. Sexuality's on a spectrum. I'm probably supposed to, like I just said, I'm probably supposed to be either transgender or gay. And then God's like, you know what? Let's make them straight, see what happens. But that's just me. But no, gay conversion therapy can't work. Like, I can't see any circumstances where anyone can convince me to, like, commit to a man or, like, only have sex with men for the rest of my life. Only thing I can think of is, like, prison, where you're just like, I just need a nut. But, like, besides that, like, I could not be convinced to not like women. I don't know. There's something about women I just really like, And I think, and also, I want to say this controversial statement. I know that, like, your sexuality is not a choice, because women would never want to date a man. No, I don't see any reason why anyone would want to date a man unless, like, it was their sexuality, like they had to. Like, I don't know. I don't get that. I'm rambling on. We're going to cancel. I'm going to be canceled. This is only going to be the first episode, and we're already going to actually cancel me. But I don't know. Mike Pence is gay, and I'm just calling that on my own. And I bet if Mike Pence had sex with a gay man, he would enjoy it a lot. And I hope he does. But, yeah. All right. Let me take a drink. We're getting on to the next topic of this episode. All right. Voice is nice and dry. I like that. 13 men charged in alleged plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Okay. This is from NBC News. More than a dozen men were arrested on federal and state charges in connection with an alleged foiled plot to kidnap Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, authorities said Thursday. Now, I think a lot about... I haven't done a lot of research into that. I just know, like, obviously, these are white men, so they call it a militia, not terrorists. They're terrorists. They're terrorists. Like, they're terrorists. If this was a Muslim group, you'd call them terrorists. Like, don't try to fuck with me and tell me I'm wrong here. This is where I'm right. If I'm telling you I'm right, I'm right. They're terrorists. Most militias are terrorists. I would say that. Because I obviously know the BLM, Black Lives Matter protests. Like, there's not a militia there. Like, they didn't form a militia to try and do that. They're just like, hey, police, can you just not shoot citizens? And they're like, no, fuck you. Whatever they do. That's what that is. But, I'm thinking about that. Like, one of my dreams is I've always wanted to do a heist. And at the end of the heist, but like a no consequences heist where at the end of it, if we solve it, we're just like, here, you can have your money back or whatever, or your diamond dove or whatever. And then if I don't, I just like, all right, you failed this mission. Good job, buddy. And then, like, oh, man, well, I'm glad I got to try it out. I've always wanted to, like, do it because I guess I watch a lot of serial killer and, like, people who killed other people, like documentaries and stuff like that on, like, Netflix and YouTube. And the interest I have in those is, like, what was, like, the significance of what they did that they didn't get away with it? Because that's what interests me so much. Like, what was the piece of the puzzle that, like, they couldn't get away with it? And that's what I mean. Like, you think about the Zodiac Killer, like, he got away with it. And, like, he was so clean, and that interests me a lot. But it's probably Ted Cruz, and it's probably not right, but I'll say it anyways. So I don't really care. I'll say it. He's the... But also, you think, like, him with a beard would be better? No, it just makes it, like, it's still bad. You think maybe he'll look better with a beard, but it doesn't. But anyways, let's go back to our main topic of the discussion, though. Like, this heist that I'm super interested in to, like, kidnap and murder. And also, I don't know if they thought that through enough. Like, you kidnap and kill him, are you going to, like, make a video like, Al-Qaeda did? Like, then, like, you're clearly a terrorist then. Like, you're not, like, making the world better. You're like, just like Al-Qaeda. Like, you're not making yourself any better. Come on, you idiots. But I think, that's all I have to say about that. But I looked at, like, the mugshots of these guys. None of these guys are good looking. None of them at all are good looking. And that's a concern for me because a lot of these guys are white supremacists, and you say that the white race is the superior race. How do you justify that statement when both your eyes go in different directions? Like, these white supremacists are ugly as fuck. Like, why are they saying they're the superior race? Like, I kind of get Hitler when he says, like, blonde hair, blue eye, like, hot women, like, they're hot. I'm like, they're hot, but, like, there's other hot women too, bud. Like, for real. Like these white supremacists, they're ugly as fuck. I looked at all their photos. I'm like, those guys don't know where the clitoris is at all. And I know that because you have to be ugly to not know where the clitoris is. And even if they had money, which they didn't, like, because they're ugly, I I can't get my mind around the idea that white supremacists think they're the superior race. And then I look at like celebrities like, oh, I'll go with LMA, maybe I'm probably saying that wrong. Beyonce, like they're both black, beautiful women. And like I'm DTF down to fuck both of them, honestly. LMI, I think maybe a little bit easier because I don't think I can live up to Jay-Z. Financially, I think that's financially is the big part. Musically, actually, no, I can't live up to him musically either. So I need a sound drop here. I'm going to just pick one out of nowhere. Does this one work?
I identify as a fucking threat.
That one did not work. And I admit that. I admit that pretty clearly, but I don't know. And I can name thousands, probably not thousands. I don't even think I know 1,000 people. I can name hundreds. Like, I don't know. I like Latino women. I think they're hot. They can be very spicy. I think spicy is the perfect word to call Latino women because the food's also spicy, and it just makes it. I don't know. Like, I've obviously seen a ton of beautiful white women, but I've also seen a ton of beautiful Latino women. I've seen a ton of beautiful black women. And honestly, I kind of think here, I'm white Jew, and I think I might be part Native American, but I'm not gonna like try to get a card or whatever. I don't think white's the superior race. Let's be honest. I don't think it's white people. Let's be honest. Like, have you seen people who go to Trump rallies? Have you seen their women? They are not good looking. It's like 1 out of 5 of them are good looking. 1 out of 5? 1 out of 5 is good looking? Seriously?
What you gonna eat? You did fucked up?
Like, that's how you have to be to actually, like, be with these women? Like, come on. Like, I don't, there's a rare chance I would ever want to, like, sleep with a woman who votes for Trump. Honestly, I've seen a couple beautiful women who vote for Trump. They're like, you're either a 10 out of 10 or 1 through 3. And if you're going by my scale, I say you can at least reach a 4 if you have good hygiene. These are 1 through 3. Like, these are women without good hygiene. Like, these women have nothing to offer you. For real, like, Trump supporters are awful. And I know the real women vote for Trump. We don't need no liberal chump. Our vaginas are dry and we don't get men because those most men beat us in bed or something like that. I don't know. Remember, this is Cancel Schweezy, so this is your fault. You need to stop listening to this. Like, the title says it all. But no, these white supremacists are fucking ugly. Like, I watched that incel documentary by BBC, and like there's that one guy, who like shot a bunch of free people. Like, I didn't think he was that bad looking. Like, he just might need to go to therapy or something. I don't know. And then he killed himself, but he's not going to therapy now. And most incels are not going to therapy. Most incels, like, probably could get laid. I think their one problem is they're expecting too much physical beauty out of women. And then they're also, like, they don't know how to talk to them either. Like, I mean, I'm probably not the best person to talk with. As you may know, I am a simp, but I am not an incel. I'm not an incel. So, I mean, I'm probably not the best person to talk about this. But, like, for me though, like, with my women, it's like, I guess I'm probably want someone who is good looking, but at the same time, I want someone who I can, like, sit down, talk to, just who makes me laugh and, like, has a good time. So, like, that's probably weird, and I probably ruin things, with my own personality because I host
the Swagcast.
Like, you know what's going on. You know what the fuck is going on. But, like, these incels, like, they probably could get some women if they wanted to. Like, you're not getting supermodels, but, like, I know the big thing for men, like, is, like, you want, like, a skinnier woman, like, in shape woman, and then women, they want a tall guy. I mean, I'm not the tallest guy in the world. Let's be real. But at the same time, like, if you lower your expectations, my rule, I feel like the perfect rule is, men, you should want someone skinnier than you. And then women, you should want someone taller than you. Don't expect, like, bonuses of that. If that's the case, you're lucky, but I don't know. I'm just speaking out of my ass right now. I'm going to be honest with you. But no. But no, why are white supremacists so ugly? And then claiming they're the superior race. That is the kind of point I want to get to. And, yeah, I mean, that's all I have to really say on the matter. But, no, let's talk about that. This episode of the Schwegcast is brought to you by Gamefly. Most of you are already aware of Gamefly, but for those of you who don't, it's the best video game rental subscription service for one low monthly fee. As a Twitch video game streamer myself, I know there are two types of game. One type is the game that you'll continue to go back to time and time again, like Breath of the Wild and Super Smash Bros. And then there's those other games, that you only play once and then never pick up again. And that is where Gamefly is perfect. Most games come in at around $60. And these new AAA titles come in at $60. But with this link in the description of this episode, your first 2 months will only be $10. I'm a subscriber myself, and I played through Pokemon Sword, and I loved it so much that I wanted to keep that copy. And with just a click of a button, and you just pay the little extra money, you get to keep the game that you rented from Gamefly. You don't even have to worry about anything else, and they'll go ahead and send you the next game. I'm excited for the month of October. I will be getting into Luigi's Mansion because that is a very spooky game, and that's Halloween, so it's the spooky season, which I am super excited to play that game. I already got it in the mail, and I'm excited for once October kind of rolls around, I can start playing that game, and it is super fun and awesome. I love Gamefly. Like I said, I'm a subscriber myself, but you can get your first 2 months for $10. You just got to use the link in the description of this episode, and you know what? Start playing those games. Okay, and I have a Garth Brooks update for you.
And let's get physical playing music. I like that thought.
Yeah, there we go. So the update I have for you, probably some of you may know if you follow Garth exclusively, like I do, but you're probably listening to the show because you actually do want an actual Garth update from me. So let's get physical playing music. I like that, Let's,
Then I say let the conversation begin.
Okay, so the news I have on Garth right now, I'll just read what I have here. Garth is working on a new album, obviously, which has me a little worried. I'll get to that in a moment. But he will be including a cover of Shallow from the movie... God damn, Shallow from the movie... God damn, I'm going to have to use my computer now. Okay... Shallow from A Star is Born. Okay. So this is from A Star is Born, which I have not watched that movie, but my Aunt Judy, who is my grandma, and who's basically my grandma figure in my life, because my grandparents died when I was young, but they enjoyed Baby Schweg, which was probably the peak of my life, honestly, and she's my grandma, basically. She said this is her favorite version of the movie because there's been a couple other versions, but this one with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper were her actual favorite versions of this movie, which, I mean, I like Bradley Cooper as an actor, but I think Lady Gaga is super talented as a human being in everything she does. Like, she is just a class act talent, Bad Romance, obviously. I think a lot of people I went to high school with think of me if they hear the song Bad Romance. But I think I like Telephone a lot more because that Beyonce verse just like smacks, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't know. You can have your own opinion. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. If you're listening to this show, I don't think you give a fuck what I think. But no, he's working on that with Trisha Yearwood, which I enjoy. There's a lot of things with... music by Garth, I want to think. Like, I think he is a phenomenal performer. I just think he's weird on the internet. So if I ever say anything on that is what I mean. I like him duetting with Trisha, and I like the idea that he's not doing his own songs. He may be doing like a cover album or a cover album that songs that he did not write, and I can say that.
And I really like that.
For real, I can honestly really say that. But yeah, because I feel you get to a point in an artist's career where you've said everything you've needed to said and you've made your best songs. Now, a lot of bands decide to keep going on and just keep releasing random-ass songs over and over and over again. But then there's people like Garth. Like, he is if you speak about country music in itself, he is a legend in himself. And so, like, him releasing new music or him trying to be like, I'm still going to, like, fight my artistic integrity and make music, because I have something to say. I'm like, Garth, you don't have anything to say. You've been around the block. You're the best paying artist in America. You have nothing good to say. So if you make a cover album, and I feel like that's the best thing for every Garth fan out there, because obviously I don't think there is anything he needs to say, per se, that anyone wants to hear. That's why I feel like with me as an artist, because I'm like depressed and I drink a lot and stuff like that. But with Garth, like, he has a lot to say. Like, he doesn't have a lot to say. Sorry, I messed that up. He doesn't have a lot to say. But if someone else has something to say and he performs that song, I think it's a good idea. I think I support Garth doing like a cover album. I really support that. The other Garth news we have...
Let's get physical playing music. I like that thought.
Is he shaved his beard, and I don't think he should have done that, obviously. He looks like a toenail when he doesn't have facial hair. I don't like the goatee, but when he has the full beard and he didn't dye it very badly black, he looks really good. I think Garth, if you're listening to this for some fucking reason, you need to grow your beard back out, bud. You need to grow the beard. You look better with the beard. If you can, honestly, okay, and to anyone here, obviously, I'll show you some sides of my facial hair, but if you can grow a beard, grow a beard. How long you keep it, up to you. Up to you. Typically, if there's patchy spots, keep it short. That's what I'm doing, trying to like justify my facial hair structure. But I was told, I think an ex-girlfriend said she liked the way I looked, just the way I was, and now we're not together. And now it's like, you know what? I'm gonna try to grow a beard now, just because she won't like it. And that's why I keep my apartment pretty cold. And I do that because she didn't like it. And you know what? I don't want her coming around here anymore. And you know what?
I like that.
And I like her not coming around anymore. That's me figuring out my shit together. And we're in that together too. All right, what else do we have here today? Let me take another sip of my Moscow Mule. Man, I was worried I wasn't going to fill enough time, but looks like I'm going to be fine. All right. So I got into a little drama with OnlyFans lately. Watched my recent episode with Grass Kingdoms. Can I talk about how much I love that guy? His Christian name is Noah, but how the Shrekcast initially works is that I'll either reach out to someone or they'll reach out to me, and I make no shame in either transaction of that. He reached out to me. He says, like, hey, I'm looking to come on some podcasts and stuff like that. And I see him and I look at his stuff and I'm like, holy shit, you're Grass Kingdoms. Now, some of you know, I'm a big fan of the Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura and Christina Pajitsky. Tom Segura himself is probably my favorite comedian. I like Bert Kreischer to an extent. I like Dave Chappelle. I'd put them on my top 3. There's other comedians I'm definitely watching your shit. Like Jerry Seinfeld. I'll definitely watch all his stand up and I enjoy it, but like he's kind of like, I like probably his show more than his stand up, but no, I'll still watch all his stand up specials. They're all good. At least the ones on Netflix are pretty good. But Grass Kingdoms himself, he's been writing a lot of music for Your Mom's House, and a lot of them are pretty big deals. Like Nadav is Googling, their producer on the show takes forever to Google, and he decided to write a song about it. And then one time he got in a lot of debt gambling, and he wrote Nadav Gambling. So it's pretty cool. So I was really excited to talk with him, and I feel like I'm going to make sure that we become best friends. It's just, adult friendships are weird, and you just kind of have to force your own friendships. That's why I'm friends with Ghost Town Remedy, to be honest with you. That's just,
This is the type of guy you get.
As Joe would say. So I can really describe that shit. But no, he's really cool. We had a conversation about OnlyFans, and we both have subscribed to people on OnlyFans. And I talked a lot about how there are people on OnlyFans who you're kind of getting ripped off watching their content. Like, there's one girl I watch, she's under @TheDesperateOne. Her name's Pandora Sky, and I actually got to talk to her. It was really cool. This is my moment where I was like talking to her, and I was like, hey, and I made like a highlight clip for the Shwedcast, and I'm just like, hey, we mentioned you in this. Don't worry, I said good things about you. It's like, oh, you're so cute, thank you. And I responded back like a very depressed individual, like I always do. I'm going to pretend that you actually mean what you just said, that you think I'm cute, because I could use that confidence boost. And I'm like, and she's never, honestly, I try to, with women I date, to be like, try to show confidence that like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking cool. But with her, I'm like, she's not gonna date me. So I can be honest with her. You know, you can be honest with a woman you don't want to date. And then she responded back, that's a weird way to tell a compliment. And then she like responded back like several hours later. She's like, okay, so I actually mean what I said. I do think you're cute, and I wouldn't do that because I can do whatever I want on this channel, whatever. And I'm like, man, this made my day. So, ladies, maybe you should start complimenting me more and making me feel better. I know that's what you want. That's what you're looking for. So, you know what they say.
What you ready to get fucked up?
But that's how you'll say that. But no, she's super cool. My favorite. So go follow her on OnlyFans. Pay for that shit because it's good. But no, I posted like our little clip of that on the OnlyFans advice on Reddit, and that's where shit hit the fan. So got a lot of comments, got a lot of threats, got a lot of things going on there. But anyways, the very controversial statement I said was, your nudes are not as good as Disney Plus. And I still mean that. I mean that shit. I definitely mean that, because Disney Plus has the Avengers, like every Avengers movie. Avengers Endgame, one of the best movies of all time. And you're selling your it's barely nude. You're barely nudes for $50 a month on the internet. And you think your nudes are better than Avengers Endgame? Like, I bought the movie for like $30 maybe? I own the movie for $30. And I can watch that all the time. I do watch it all the time, honestly. Maybe the end fight scene all the time, but you can't tell me your nudes are better than Avengers Endgame. There are women who are better looking than you on Pornhub for free. I can find a woman, and honestly, okay, let's be honest, like, I'll date women, and then I try to find a woman on Pornhub who looks like them. So, like, I can feel like I'm making sex to them. That's what I'm doing. But, like, you can't expect your nudes to be better than Disney Plus. You can't expect that. Like, if I was naked, like, you would pick Disney Plus above me. You'd watch, like, Little Mermaid, and you'd be like, yeah, I'd rather watch The Little Mermaid than see Schweezy naked. That is a fact. And, like, I can accept that. You should accept that, too. You should accept the fact that your terrible nudes are not as good as Disney Plus. There are women in my actual life that I would kill to see nude, and if it would cost more than Avengers Endgame, it would not be the case. Now, Grass Kingdom said the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons. We're talking about the first 10 seasons. We're not talking about any other episode of The Simpsons. Your nudes are not as good as that. You need to realize your nudes are not as good as that. You need to price your OnlyFans respectful. It's called supply and demand. It is economics 101. I took an economics class in college, and I have a degree in music technology. You probably don't have a degree because you're selling your nudes online, which, if you do it right, I respect you. But if you do it wrong, you're not as good as Avengers Endgame. You're not as good as the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons. And you're not as good as The Little Mermaid. And that is all I will say about that. But if you still want to threaten me, go for it. I will make fun of you on this podcast and the Schwedcast as well. I'm not worried about that at all. So come at me, bruh. This episode of the Schwegcast is brought to you by FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. They also have a fantastic clothing line so you can look good while you work out as well, which I always like to look good working out. Hashtag pray for Micah. We all know the drill. With your purchase of any product from the FNX Fitness website, they even donate a gallon of water to a child in need, so you know that each purchase you make really is helping someone out. Using promo code SCHWEGCAST or link in the description of this episode, you can save 15% off your order. Again, that is promo code SCHWEGCAST or link in the description down below. Save 15% on some great performance supplements. All right, so now we're on the part of the podcast where I give advice. So if you want to submit your own questions to get advice by me, you can always email theschwegcast@gmail.com. That's the best place to do it, but also I want to do a disclaimer because I feel like I think I talked to a legal person recently, and they said that I need to put a disclaimer that I am not responsible for any bad decisions or bad advice I give you. Take my advice at your own risk. That's all I can tell you. Okay. First question I got is by TJ. You might know TJ if you've listened to the Schwegcast or know the band Ghost Town Remedy. But he asked this question: how do I ask for feet pictures from a close friend? All right, so I'm going to do what you should do, and then I will do what you could do to get that information. To get that stuff. So first thing I would say is get consent. That's the best advice I can get. You just ask a woman for a picture of her feet. I'm assuming in this situation it's a woman. Just ask her for pictures of her feet. Let's just do that because consent is always the best thing. Like I always tell everyone, if you want to get a woman to have sex with you, all you have to do is get consent. If you get that consent, she's going to have sex with you. It sounds like it's a difficult it sounds like an easy thing when I say it because it could be. Like, she could probably just have sex with you just for that, you know?
This is the type of guy you get.
Yeah, that's the type of guy she's getting. That's all I can really say.
And I really like that.
Oh, you know the drill. You know what's going on. But yeah, that's the best thing I can do. Now, let me give you the bad advice. What you shouldn't do but could do if you want to be sleazy. So the best thing I can tell you there's a couple things you could do. So maybe invite her over to your place. Tell her to take her shoes off. A lot of women will take their shoes off. And then maybe like trick her into stepping in a puddle in your kitchen. Like, oh, I didn't know that was wet. And then she takes her socks off to let them dry. You got feet. Then you just got to sneak out your phone, get the picture. Another idea you could do is like, hey, let's go swimming or let's go tanning or some shit like that. You know, like then take your shoes off to make sure that tan line is even, sneak in a picture. Most likely, you just got to figure out a way to sneak in a picture, TJ, on how to get that foot picture because just depending on, like, what you like and dislike about feet. I'm not into feet. Like, that's the thing, though. So, like, my kind of logic behind this is, like, if I needed to get a picture of her feet for someone else, what would I need to do? So that's the advice I'm giving you right now of how to do that, TJ. But in the meantime, though, yeah. So the best idea is to you're going to have to sneak it out of her if she says no. It does not give you consent. But honestly, the best advice I would give you is just ask her. Like, she might just send it to you. And if you have to put a little money in there, so be it. Like, you enjoy those pictures. Like, if you enjoy something, pay for it. Like, we're such in, like, an environment where, like, don't be...
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
Like, to not be stingy, and, like, we need to, like, try to do shit like that. Like, no, dude, just, like, ask for it first, and if not, sneak it. That's all I can really say. Let's move on to another question. Oh, man, I'm getting canceled. All right, this one's from David. How does one get such perfectly coiffed hair? I'm assuming you're talking about me. Thank you, David. So, basically, how I do that shit... it takes about 10 minutes. Once you get the strategy down, it will take 10 minutes. It could take longer your first start, but for me, for someone who does this at least majority of the week, it doesn't take that long. So first, obviously I get out of the shower. My hair is wet, very, very flat. Once they get ready to start drying, you have to use a blow dryer. That's the main thing. So for me, I put a pre-styler in and a sea salt spray. So pre-stylers could be like mousse or anything similar to that. Maybe you might have to do a little research. I don't know what's going to be best for your hair. So use that. And I always use a sea salt spray because my hair is super thin. And sea salt sprays are super notoriously known for making your hair a lot thicker. All that stuff, you can buy that stuff at Walmart or Target, or you can buy it online. I don't give a shit. Then basically it's blow drying. So you guys kind of have to like blow dry your hair in the position. So I'll do like this, like curl it, pull it up like this, do it like that. Then I go from sides, and then I go for the back. And the back's really important too, because that's what keeps it, like gives it the proper positioning in regards to your hair. Then eventually you have to cool it off. So you take your blow dryer, put it in the cool setting, kind of let it set, because you don't want your hair to stay hot. You want it to stay cold. And then it is cold. And then once it's cold, you take your actual post styler, which you can spend a lot of money on that, but a $20 something can get you going a long ways. I like Lockhart's matte clay. I like Blue Mont's Cavalier clay. That works for me. It's hard to figure out what's going to work for everyone. Everyone has individual hair. That doesn't always like work for everyone. And so like you just kind of have to figure out what's going to work best for you, and it's going to take some trial and error. So I can't really help you with that. You get it styled the way you want to. Since you're blow drying really well and you got the volume you want in the blow dry, once you pre-style and then you get some hairspray, spray it down in the position you want to, you are good to go. Some people's hair works good where you don't need hairspray. Mine doesn't, so I use hairspray. It's a lot of trial and error. You got to figure out what works best for you. That's all I can really say with hair. You got to figure out what style you want. Then you have to make sure you keep up with your haircuts. Like, this is what I want. This is how I do my hair. This is what's going to look best for me. And then you just got to know. You got to trial and error. That was a tutorial on my hair, but your hair, everyone's hair is going to be different. So always keep in mind that when you try to, figure out your hair. And there's hairstyles that don't work for me that could work for you. I always feel like any hairstyle that works for me takes a lot of effort. And I'm living with that right now. So that's the way it is. So those were the two questions I did have on my, that I did receive emails or messages on Instagram for. But what I'm going to be doing with this show is I may be going to Reddit r/advice and just looking for questions there and just answering those questions on my own here. So if you don't send me your question, that's where I'm going. That's just what's going to happen. So figure it out, stupid. All right. So this was posted by user econstudent1234. All right, so let me see here. The end of a recent relationship has meant there's not much for me in my hometown. I think I want to move where my friends live, and I put a deadline on myself to move in 3 to 4 months. And whether I think about this deadline, I just get sickly nervous. I know there's no rush to move, but if I stay, I'm not sure I'll be able to mentally healthily after the relationship. Let me read that correctly. I have no friends here, etc., but I'm nervous about living with strangers. I'm nervous about dragging all my problems to a new city further away, and I'm nervous maybe about a knee-jerk reaction that maybe I can make my hometown work if I try. Has anyone else been in the situation /a situation town work if I try? Has anyone been in a situation /a like they have any advice? I'm early 20s, by the way. Okay. So I was in the exact situation as you were. So just to give a little background, some of you may not know me personally. And so when I was 13 years old, I moved from like a small town in Kansas to a town in Missouri for my dad's new job and my mom's new job. A lot of details with that. But anyways, I was fairly liked in my hometown, but I was hated in this new town that my parents moved to. So I lived there for 6 years. I went through 2 years of middle school, 4 years of high school, just like not being liked by a lot of people. And then, I decided to go to college somewhere else because it was a college town that my parents lived in. My dad's, a college coach, and my mom's a first grade teacher. So, obviously that worked out for them. But I was never liked. My brother was liked very well, but I was not liked by the people of that town. So when I decided to move to college, I'm like, I'm moving somewhere very far away. And it was 3 hours away from where my parents lived. And so, I obviously liked my college, but at the same time, everyone's like, you got to be obsessed with where you're from. And I'm like, I'm not obsessed with where I'm from. So I always just made the college town this is the new town I'm from. So with that, and after I was always in a weird psychotic rage where it's I need to be somewhere where people take me seriously. No one, even from where my parents are, people didn't take me seriously. From where I'm from, and I'm taking this music thing seriously. And then it wasn't until I decided after I graduated, I'm moving to Nashville. I had an unpaid internship set up. That's it. That was all I had set up, and people were like, "Will you make it?" And then eventually, then I've moved here, and I've established myself a little bit. They respect me a lot more. My family respects me a lot more. My dad says I matured, but I actually kind of feel like I did something smart in my move to Nashville. I didn't know anyone when I moved to Nashville. So you kind of have a situation where the city you want to move to, you actually know people in, which is a very good thing. So that is a very plus. I had to start fresh with new friends in Nashville, and I was always just texting my old friends all the time. I still do that a lot. Making friends as an adult is the worst. I that way lower than I could have, but no, man. If you have that gut reaction to move to a new city, move to that new city. I'm so happy I moved to Nashville. I would have never been respected if I stayed in Warrensburg or moved to a little bit closer to Kansas City. I would have never been respected by anyone. And now that I live in Nashville, I feel like people actually start respecting me thoroughly. And I think the situation that you're in, the idea that you need to move to this new city, you need to move there. Just go ahead and do it. Obviously, I feel like the only big problem you have is financial a situation. Apply for obviously apply for a job, try to get a job there before you move. In the mean part, I would live in a very cheap single bedroom apartment. And then eventually, if you meet a new friend, try to move in there. That's the big thing. I would say do not stay in your hometown. Never stay in your hometown. You need to make your hometown. You need to make the town that becomes your hometown. I don't understand people who just stick around. Their lives do not have any meaning, and all they decide to do, I'm just going to stick here forever. I don't have any problem with that. No, you need to... If you have any slight of doubt that your hometown, you hate your hometown, but you're there, move out of your hometown. Move to a town you actually want to be in. Move somewhere you want to be in. Life is short. You don't... I think all the time, how much, I'm depressed all the time and stuff like that, but I also think that moving to Nashville was such a good thing for me. I feel like there'd be so much more... I'd be so much more depressed if I lived somewhere else. If I lived in Kansas City, if I lived still in Warrensburg, for God's fucking sake, that the idea of being there would suck dick. And so you need to move out of your hometown. Do not live in your hometown. Fuck your hometown. Every emo song ever has told you to stay away from your hometown. Move out of your hometown. I felt at some point I was the only fucking person who was making emo music and was oh, I'm the only person who actually fucking moved out of here, and you didn't. So these people just bitch about a lot of things, but no. Move out of your hometown. It's good for you. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right. Posted by Valzia on our advice. I have bipolar and depression. I've recently started taking new medication that has helped, in quotation marks, me a lot. I've been way more active and excited, sleeping way less, and wanting to do new things. The problem is that I hate this feeling. I hate being excited and energized. It doesn't feel right to me. I want to stop this medication and go back to normal. I have no idea or how I will convince myself, my psychiatrist to do so, but I will at least try. Should I do this? This is what I'm feeling. Is what I'm feeling is normal. Okay, I need to figure out how to read. So, dude, I feel like you're a dude, but if you're a woman, you're... I call women dudes, and I call women bros, so don't worry about that. I have bipolar disorder. I'm depressed. I have very severe anxiety. I might have some form of ADHD, could be lumped in with something else, but everyone's mental illness is different, so I can only speak for myself. On your trying to give advice to your mental illness, I think I'm going to just say this. I'm just going to speak out loud for a second. Obviously, this show is called Cancel Schweezy, so that's the shit we're doing. But I feel like if this medication has helped you, you need to keep doing this medication. Obviously, I feel like for you to live a better life, obviously, you need to keep doing this medication because you're saying it actually has helped, but you missed the way you were. I think that idea is you miss the person you were before, who was a toxic individual. I mean, I can say for myself, when I've been finally medicated for a long time now, that my medication has really helped me. It hasn't solved all my issues. You have a psychiatrist. I don't at the moment, which I've been thoroughly trying to investigate a good way for me to see a therapist or a psychiatrist on my end, but it looks like this is working for you. You're just feeling like a new person. For me, when I started my antidepressant journey, you start discovering that you're not the person you were before, and this is not a normal functioning person that you're supposed to be. And this is all a good thing. You figure this out. Like, hey, I miss the person I was before, but also I'm assuming you started this medication because there was an initial problem to begin with. The idea, this is what I'm just getting from this message. So you need to stick with this medication. I need to stick with my medication too. So we're in this together. But you're experiencing the person you really are. When I started taking my medication, I can honestly start telling you that I'm, this is the person I am. I realized just for example, I realized there was a lot of food I actually liked that I did not like before. There's a lot of restaurants I would start going to that I didn't like before. It's just your mindset's changing. Your mind is changing. What I would suggest for you to do, to be honest with you, if I was you, keep with this. You're becoming a better person. You're becoming the person you're meant to be. It's going to take some time for you to adjust to who you are. But at the same time, the medicated you is the best version of you that you have. Like, this is a good person for you to be. I want you to know someone who's probably have a couple years, maybe like 5 or 6 from you. You're becoming a better version of yourself. It's going to take time to figure out who you are, like, to be the best version of yourself that you are. Like, fuck, dude, I'm in that position right now. I still have like a big drinking problem, and I think a lot of it's like past trauma and like situations from when I was a kid that brought me here. And I don't know how to fucking guide you. That's your psychiatrist. Do not try to convince your psychiatrist to get you off your meds. Stay on your meds. Try to keep moving forward. I think that is the purpose of life, is to keep moving forward. And I feel like with what you're doing, like, you feel better about yourself. Like, you need to stick with that, dude. Like, I've not gotten to that point, like, from what you're describing, and I wish I could get to that point. I'm still, like, working my way towards that point. And I would say I'm, like, 5-6 years into antidepressants myself. This big old cocktail that I'm taking every day. But, dude, I'm calling you dude. Dude is gender neutral when I say it. I hope the best for you. I want you to keep moving forward. Move forward. Do not move backwards. Looks like you're doing good. You just need to adjust to things. So that's it for the advice column. I have today. Let me do the ending for this podcast. Thank you so much. You listened to the first episode of Cancel Schweezy for some fucking reason, and I want to bless you and thank you for that. If you have any questions for us or any concerns or anything I got wrong, I will read them out loud. I have no shame, like I told you. You can email theshwedcast@gmail.com. I will read that all out loud. Comments and concerns. And also you can just comment on the video and podcast, whatever you do. However you listen to this. Also, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever the hell you listen to music on, or podcast on, hit that subscribe button. But especially if you're on YouTube, we're trying to build the YouTube page. And I can't express enough how hard I'm trying to build this YouTube page. And I know a lot of you are streaming audio only, but if you could, and you have your own YouTube account, at least just subscribe to that, just to help out the page a lot. But also, if you actually watch this, do that too. That's all I want you to do and how I want you to live. Like and subscribe. Remember my new song, Oof, is out now on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, DistroKid, wherever the hell you listen to music at. That's all that matters, though. Go and listen to it. I think that song is really good. I love that song, and I wish I could express that to you, and I hope you like it. So yeah, please go listen to it and like it and do everything like you like. And if you really love this show and you really want to support this show and keep it moving on, go subscribe on Patreon, $5 a month. You get ad-free episodes of the show. No more interruptions. No more dumbass bullshit by me. So, yeah. Stay awesome, and I will catch you next week.
Hashtag pray for Micah.
Hey, you just finished a full episode of the Schwedcast. I hope your brain cells don't hurt. If you want to support this show financially in the best way possible, go check us out on Patreon for $5 a month. You can get ad-free episodes of the Schwedcast and is the best way to personally support me and this channel.